Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to another episode of Competitive Corner. Today we're going to be talking about, as what hopefully the title says, we're going to be talking about two different things in the current format of VGC, and that is the meta itself and hacks. And I kind of just want to touch on a couple of things instead of doing a Pokemon Spotlight this week. I just kind of want to talk about a few things because X-Ray's Ovation made a video the other day that, you know, I kind of wanted to talk on my opinions about some of the things that are happening. So, let's start with the meta. So right now I have Pokemon Global Link up for Season 10, which ended, depending on whenever this video started, it ended Monday, July 13th. So that is something to note. It did end then, but it's still very relevant. They just don't have any of the stats for next season yet, or the current season, so I just used this. So for what you want to know is these are the top 12 Pokemon used, and you can kind of see Cresselia sitting there in the corner underneath my webcam, of course. These are the top 12 Pokemon used this season, and pretty much every season so far in this generation. And I kind of want to talk about the impact these things have on the format and my opinions on that. So, first of all, you're gonna see Kangaskhan being in the first position. He's obviously she is actually used the most, and you can really see why. You know, it's very powerful. It has a pretty really good typing in this format, not offensively but just in general. And it has a really solid moveset. As you can see, it's Fake Out, Sucker Punch, Low Kick, Double Edge, Return, Power Up Punch, Protect, Ice Punch, Drain Punch, Crunch. Those are the top 10 move used, and really, it's what you need. And back in the 14 meta, Kangaskhan was used a lot in the very, very beginning. Pretty much every single team had it. It was very hard to see it without Kangaskhan. But then, as the season moved on, every single person had a counter for Kangaskhan, so you saw Kangaskhan go down significantly in usage. It was still in the top 12, I believe, on BattleSpot, but especially in tournaments, you really didn't see it as often. But it's definitely made a huge resurgence back in this format, and there's a couple of reasons why. First, Sylveon has become very, very prevalent. It wasn't really super prevalent last time. And honestly, the rest really don't explain why Kangaskhan, at least in my eyes, became the most go-to Mega. And the reason why I say I don't really understand is because take a look at Mega Mawile, someone who has pretty much the exact same coverage, minus the Fake Out, a little bit bulkier and pretty much stronger in every regard. Better typing both offensively and defensively. It has very good coverage in this format. You know, I mean, granted with I think with, you know, Heatran, Charizard, and Talonflame, as you're seeing in the top 12, a little scarier for Mawile, but you know, there's things around that, you know what I'm saying? But, so, as you can see, there's a lot of things, and what really brought me to this was the number 2, and that's Landorus. Honestly, I'm surprised Landorus is actually number 2. I really think Landorus is seen way more often than Kangaskhan. It's pretty much, if you watch Nationals for the US Nationals, there were Landoruses on pretty much every single team except for maybe like 2 or 3. And that's something to be said. He does have excellent typing, coverage, and ability for this format. You know, you've got the Earthquake, the Rock Slide, the Superpower, U-Turn, Knockoff. You don't need much more than that. He does get Explosion, which is not really great, but it's useful. Rock Tomb is another form of speed control, so I'm not surprised to see it here. But 100% on Intimidate. I'm pretty sure it doesn't get another ability, and if it does, you can't get it. I don't know. I don't really use Landorus, so that's why I don't really know off the hand. And plus, 100% people use Intimidate. There's got to be a reason for that. So, how do I feel about this? Well, on one hand, this season, there is a massive amount of Pokemon to choose from. It's pretty much every single Pokemon in the game minus cover and event legendaries, and I think that's pretty much it. That's banned. Pretty much every other legendary is fair game. It's a big variety as compared to the 2014. I pronounced that weird. The 2014 format where it was just the Kalos and the Hoenn decks. No, it was just Kalos decks. Sorry, it was just Kalos decks, and it was interesting. It was very interesting. It was a lot harder to build teams, and I really did not like it, and that's why I really prefer this format. But the flip side to that is that I'm not a big fan of the Pokemon used in this format. I love Cresselia. I will be the first to admit Cresselia is one of my favorite legendaries Pokemon, but it sucks to battle that thing. And what makes it even worse is that every single person runs something like Landorus or Thundurus, and it gets really stale. You know, this format should have a lot more variety in this, yet we're seeing the same top 12 pretty much in every single team, just variations on a theme, and it's just not fun. I mean, I try my hardest to use different things and try and not use these teams, as you'll see in the episode that I'm going to have up today of VGC Prep, but it's very hard because everyone and their mother runs the Landorus, so you need a Landorus counter, and some of the best Landorus counters are in the top 12, and that's why they're in the top 12. You know, Cresselia is amazing at stopping Landorus. Even U-turn variants don't really bother it too much, and it carries Ice Beam or Icy Wind. So that's something, you know, and that's my problem. And I think X-Ray's Ovation really made a good point. This format would be a lot better without legendaries, and I'm not one to say, you know, legendaries are ruining the game. I'm pretty happy with legendaries, but I think the problem with legendaries is that for the most part, they're really good, and people tend to gravitate towards them. I mean, look at the top 12. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4 legendaries out of the top 12. That's a third of the top 12 is just legendaries. That's nuts. I mean, there's not that many legendaries in the game. There's, probably like 30 or so, and more than half of that is totally banned. So you still got quite a lot, you know. Not a lot, sorry. Not a lot, and yet a third of the most prominent form of the meta is legendaries. Now, I'm not, you know, saying that they're impossible to beat. They're very clearly easy to beat. Otherwise, you know, they would be banned. I mean, we have things banned like Dialga and Palkia. Those are hard to beat. Those are almost impossible to beat with regular Pokemon. So they're banned. So obviously, you know, like they're not impossible to beat. They're pretty balanced. But the problem is that they're so well designed in terms of ability, move pool, base stat totals, move distribution in this format that it really over-centralizes the game, focusing on them. I mean, you need to go into the game having a Landorus counter, something to handle Thundurus, something to handle Cresselia. I mean, if you don't have a Cresselia counter, you're going to be pretty up a creek when it starts setting up Calm Minds, you know? And that's kind of an issue. I mean, it's weird to say that you don't want something like that in the game, because they're not broken, but they really take the spotlight away from the other Pokemon. I mean, we got Megas this gen, but what Megas do we see? We only see Kangaskhan, Charizard, and Salamence, and there's a reason for that. I mean, let's look at Kangaskhan. When it's victorious, oh god, when it's victorious, it's used with Landorus, Thundurus, Heatran, you know, Mega Charizard Y, but when it's defeated, same Pokemon, you know? I mean, you got the Terrakion too. Terrakion's not in the top 12, but it's definitely one in the top 20. It's just, there's so many legendaries in this game that make it hard. I mean, granted, you know, how else are we going to beat a Kangaskhan? Landorus has Intimidate, Terrakion has Close Combat. I mean, yeah, there's other Intimidates around. I think there's just so much focus on the top 12 that something really needs to be changed. Now, I know that there's a special season going on right now, and I think I might actually play around with that. But without the top 12 from the past like couple of seasons, so that's pretty much the top 20 Pokemon just banned completely. But it's hard for me to formulate. You know, I'm kind of improving as I go. I don't have a cheat sheet of what I want to talk about. I just kind of going as I go. But for me, you know, I've always been an advocate of taking from the top 12 as minimally as you can. It's one of the reasons why I stopped playing singles, Smogon singles, is because back in 4th gen when I played, and 5th gen too, you saw the same Pokemon over and over and over and over again. And the problem is that you could be as good as you want. You really could. But when you see the same teams over and over again by some really good players, it's hard to not start to drift towards those top 12 or the top 20 or the top 30, because clearly they're working, and there's a reason they're the top. But it becomes so over-centralizing where you have to basically counter the top 12 with the top 12, you know? I mean, just look at this. Just look at this. The top partners. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 out of the 10 top partners are in the top 12. That's crazy. Look at Landers. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think Cresselia. No, it's not. Okay. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 of the top 10 used Pokemon are in the top 12. You look at the teams from Nats. I will look if I can see this right now. I want to look at this up. I want to look this up real quick. Is there teams from Nationals? Yes. Teams for the United States National Champions. Team 1, Landers. Team 2, Landers. Let's just count. I'm not going to count Incarnate because it's kind of a different Pokemon. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 27 out of 37 Master Division teams had a Landorus Therian on it. 22 out of the 37 had a Landorus Incarnate, which, while is a different Pokemon, it's still a legendary. I'm pretty sure if we go back, each team will have at least one legendary. I'm just looking for a team that maybe doesn't. So far, all of them have a legendary. It looks like John Who does not have a legendary, number 32. I'm gonna keep going because this is what I want to do. This is where we're going. So far, 1 out of the 37 teams. So far, just 1. Okay, looks like we got 2 with Kevin Reed. So 2 out of the 37 teams. And we're already on number 20, so it's not looking great. Did I count that right? Yeah, okay. So 2. No, I don't think we're gonna see another team without a legendary. No, I'm not seeing it. You know, we've got Cresselia. Wherever there's not a legendary offensive Pokemon, there's usually a Cresselia, and that's what I'm noticing here. I feel so dirty for using Cresselia. Yeah, so 2 out of the 37 teams uses a legendary. Now, like I said, they're not really OP. I mean, come on. Zapdos isn't terrible, you know, right here in 37. Zapdos isn't terrible. It's not crazy, and that's why it wasn't too bad in the 2014 format. But when you see a team, like, pretty much, what is that, 90%? 90%? I need to do the math on that real quick. 2 divided by 37. Well, I did that wrong, so I don't, I don't know how to do that. I know the math, but I don't know how to do it on a calculator. But that's ridiculous. I mean, that's definitely like 90%. That's so ridiculous. And it's clearly over-centralizing, especially when you see most of those legendaries that are used are Landorus, Thundurus, Heatran, or Cresselia. You know? And that's really what I gotta talk about that. I don't like where it's going. I'm not a big fan of how it's moving towards this legendary format where everyone and their mother runs the same Pokemon. And there's a lot of really good things that aren't being used because these Pokemon are so prevalent. Camerupt would probably, I'd almost wager, be used almost close to the top 12 if it wasn't for Landorus's prevalence. I mean, it can survive an Earthquake. That's pretty good. Mega Camerupt can survive that EQ, but no one uses it because everyone knows that there's going to be a Landorus. And why use a fire type when Mega Charizard Y is one of the strongest fire types in the game? It's just one of those things that, it's just, I find it restraining, you know, and I try really hard to push those restraints away and use what I can, and that's kind of why you'll see in the, well, if you've already seen it, because I'm uploading this after, I'm going to try and not use these Pokemon. I'm going to try and see what I can do. But, yeah, so that's that on the meta. I mean, it's a very legendary, very, very powerful, focused, format. I mean, as you can just see from the top few, a lot of physical Pokemon. A lot of physical. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 physical out of the 12. It's almost half. And you got 2 defensive. So it is more physical than special, and especially if you look at Charizard. Charizard can go physical. 5% of them do. I wonder if... Well, that's not gonna help. Yeah, 5% of them do run physical Charizard. So, I mean, it's a very interesting format, and you can see how it developed because, you know, you've got the Kangaskhan, so you're gonna want the Landorus, and then there's a lot of other physical threats, so you're gonna want the Landorus. It makes sense how it developed. I just don't like how it did. So moving on, I'm gonna have to do this real quick. There we go. All right. So, wait, is this the right one? Yeah, this is the right one. All right. So moving on, this is I'm gonna talk about hacks right now. So a while ago, this is July 19th, but I think that was July 19th of last year, because July 19th hasn't happened yet. So yes, makes sense now. I decided to do an article about luck-based strategies, specifically evasion and swagger/confusion. And I concluded at the end of this that both these strategies should not belong in the game. But I wanna get back to this. I want to talk more about this because I see a lot of people complaining about hacks. I complain about hacks. Other people complain about hacks, and I kind of want to just talk about my opinions now that I've had even more experience in this format. So firstly, you know, swagger and confusion. You know how that works. It's a 50% chance to hit yourself. It works off your attack stat. And there's a few ways to block it. You've got Safeguard, Magic Coat will bounce it back, Magic Bounce will bounce it back, Own Tempo's immune, and it doesn't affect you if you're behind a substitute. But there's one thing to note. A lot of the swagger users are Prankster ability. So unless you're running Prankster substitute or Prankster Safeguard, you're not really going to be able to bounce them back. Magic Coat and Magic Bounce and Own Tempo don't need any priority or anything because they just kind of work on their own. Magic Coat is faster priority than Prankster, so that will work. But I'll get into the details why I don't like swagger confusion. Let's move on to evasion. So there are 2 different kinds of evasion moves. Double Team and Minimize. Double Team raises evasion by 1 stage, and Minimize raises it by 2. So think of it as a Swords Dance. But something that you should know, and I'm going to show you this real quick. Evasion Pokemon stages. It's hard to search this. There we go. So evasion does not work on the same principle that like Swords Dance works on. There are 6 stages, but they boost it differently. So what this person is saying, based on a 100% accuracy move, you know, like Flamethrower, 1 stage drops that accuracy to 75, 2 stages drops that to 60, 3 drops it to 50, 4 drops it to 42.85, so basically 43, 5 drops it to 37.5, basically 38, and 6 drops it to 33. So, in order for Double Team to reverse the luck into your favor, you need to have at the minimum 4 boosts. Because at 3 boosts, it's a toss-up either way, so it's not in anyone's favor. Whereas at 4 boosts, it's actually in your favor. So that's going to be pretty important in my discussion about evasion. But let's just kind of talk about a couple of counters for evasion. For starters, you've got the ability Keen Eye, which ignores the evasion stat, so that's pretty cool. You've got Haze and Clear Smog, which have no accuracy check, and they clear all stat changes, so that's really useful. You've got Roar and Whirlwind, which will knock people out. It works sort of like Haze, but they do have an accuracy check. And they just switch out the Pokemon instead of just, you know, changing their stats. There's the move Gravity, which decreases evasion on the field. So if someone uses Double Team twice and you Gravity, I think that evens out to be no evasions. Yeah, 2 stages on the field, so yeah. And then there are some moves that never miss, such as Aerial Ace, Aura Sphere, Disarming Voice, Feint Attack, Magical Leaf, Magnet Bomb, Shadow Punch, Shockwave Swift, and Vital Throw. So no matter what, they will always hit. Bright Powder plus 6 evasion, they will always hit. Now Minimize, not only do all of those things counter Minimize, but there are a few other moves that specifically counter Minimize, that don't counter Double Team. Those moves are Stomp, Steamroller, Body Slam, Dragon Rush, Flying Press, and Phantom Force. So that's a lot of counters, and as you can see in the issues point, I had a few issues with that, alright? My main issue with Swagger is that it's a 50% chance every single time, no matter what. The only way to effectively counter those prankster users is Magic Coat, Magic Bounce, and Own Tempo. Now, I'm going to show you real quick. I'm going to show you something. So, Magic Coat. Let's switch to this screen. This screen will do a little bit better. No, that screen won't do a little bit better. Nope, none of these screens will do a little bit better. Oh, goodness. Okay, well, that's fine. I'll just read it out to you as you look at some pretty pictures. Oh god, that's really bad. Okay, I could do that, actually. No, stop that. Oh my god, these ads are terrible. Okay, look. So Magic Bounce doesn't have quite a lot of, what's the word I'm looking for? The, distribution. You've got the Porygon family, you've got the Grumpig family, you've got Lopunny, you've got Hoopa, which is totally illegal in VGC, Girafarig, Dunsparce, Kecleon, Absol, Munna, Fennekin, Clefable, Wigglytuff. Okay, there's a lot. I'm not going to read all of these. But look at the distribution. Look at the Pokemon that get it. Alright, let's look really quickly. Porygon family. That's actually a pretty good application. Grumpig. I mean, there's a lot better Psychic types in the game. You really won't be using Grumpig. Girafarig is god-awful. I don't care who you are. Girafarig is not good at all. Dunsparce has uses, but not with Magikarp. Kecleon can use it. Absol really wants the slot for offensive. I can keep going on and on. There are some things that use it, some things that don't. And that's, you know, you can't really pick and choose, so fine. But at the same time, I mean, like, I don't know. It's just, it's one of those things that I really, really don't like. Swagger takes no skill to set. There's no setup. It's just a one-click move, and it happens automatically. I lump Confusion, like Confuse Ray, into Swagger as well, even though they do work differently, because Swagger makes you hit yourself harder, because it buffs your attack by 2, but I think that's kind of just the trade-off, because if you get through Confusion, you have a +2 now, so it's kind of like I think it's a fair enough trade-off to allow Confuse Ray to be in the same category. So basically, no matter what Pokemon uses Swagger, and a lot of things get Swagger and Confuse Ray, no matter who's using it, there's no setup involved. Nothing is immune to it outside of Own Tempo Pokemon, and I mean, let's be real here. Who really has Own Tempo that's going to be used? I can already tell you, probably no one. But we'll look just for the sake of looking. So you've got Slowbro. Regenerator and Oblivious are 1,000 times better than Own Tempo. Lickitung, you don't use Lickitung. Slowking, same thing with Slowbro. Smeargle, I mean, come on. You have such other good abilities. Why is this doing this to me? Oh my god, what is happening? It's like freaking out. Smeargle, I mean, Technician and Moody, I mean, you're not going to use Technician. You're not using Technician. I mean, you're not offensive, so you're really not going to. But Moody is so much better than Own Tempo. Ludicolo, I've seen applications for Ludicolo, but that's when people were using Teeter Dance, and it's a little bit different. I mean, but for the most part, you're going to be seeing Swift Swim. Numel doesn't count. Grumpig, okay. Spinda is going to be... Why does this keep happening? Stop, I do not want to watch this ad. Spinda is going to be using Contrary if you're going to be using Spinda at all, because it gets superpower. So believe me when I say that. I mean, I could stop right there pretty much. I mean, Lilligant, I mean, Chlorophyll. Come on, you're going to be using Chlorophyll. Esper, you don't even use. Avalog, I'm pretty sure you'll be using Sturdy or Ice Body. Own Tempo does kind of work on it, I'll be fair. But really, there's no immunity to Swagger and Confusion outside of those few Pokemon. And most of those Pokemon really, they have their places, but not every team's going to run it. Whereas, every team really can have a spot for Swagger. It's not that hard to fit into a team. And that's my problem. It requires no setup. There's really no drawbacks in using it outside of the +2, but that can work for you too. It's still, you know, a positive in some regard. The only negative is that it takes up a spot. And for the most part, the Pokemon that run it don't mind that slot being gone. And that's my problem with Swagger. There's no reason for that move to exist. Confusion is just a status ailment that shouldn't ever need to have existed. There's no rhyme or reason for it. It adds really nothing to the game outside of a few random luck spikes in someone's opponent in someone's battle. Either they really need to like create more drawbacks for the use of Swagger and Confuse Ray or Confusion, or however you want to get confuse on your opponent. They either need to make more drawbacks for it or just take it out entirely. I think it's a completely, I wouldn't say broken move because it's not really broken, but it's a very non-skillful move. It's a what's the word I'm looking for? It's basically you just click a button, something happens, and you pray. That's it. Nothing else happens. Whereas, like, if you're using a flamethrower on a Pokemon, you know the calcs, you'll know how it turns out. There's no real luck involved in that. You're just taking a skillful shot. You know the flamethrower will one-hit KO Ferrothorn. It can't miss. It's not going to miss. The only luck is the burn, or if he's... I don't know. There's really no luck in that. I mean... Yeah, words are hard when you don't have a thing to a sheet, a dialogue, what's the word? I don't even know the word. All right, so we're going pretty late here. So moving on, that's my thoughts on Confusion. I don't think it belongs in the game. Evasion. Now here's something that I really think. I think Evasion belongs in the game. All right, unlike Swagger, it actually takes some setup, like we saw over here. You need at least four boosts in order for it to work in your favor. Otherwise, it's in your opponent's favor the entire time. But I would like to make a bit of a distinction. Now, we're going to go to Cerebi real quick. And I have a video to show you from a subscriber. We're going to go to Cerebi. I did not want the XY Dex. I actually want to go to the Attack Dex. We're going to go to Double Team. Alright. Let's just look real quick at Double Team. Alright. Where is Double Kick, Double Hit, Double Slap, Double Team? Alright. Double Team, as you're seeing right now, has insane distribution. I wouldn't say every Pokemon in the game gets it, because I don't feel like actually going through that, but it looks like pretty much every single Pokemon in the game gets Double Team. That is so crazy. But Double team isn't too bad. You know, you've got the one... You've got the... You need 4 stacks in order for it to actually do anything in your favor. There's plenty of options to really counter it. I mean, just look at this page. There really is plenty of options. I mean, just in this paragraph alone, these all counter double team. Everything in here. I will link this in the description below so you can see that. But minimize, on the other hand, minimize is a whole different ballpark. So let's look at minimize. Who gets minimize? It doesn't have nearly as much distribution, but the distribution is a lot scarier. For starters, the 3 scariest things that get minimized are Clefable, Chansey Blissey, and Driftblim. Just sit there for a second and think, why is that scary, Ryan? Why is it scary that those things get it? Well, let's take a look at the more obvious one, Blissey and Chansey. Specifically Chansey. Chansey has base 250 HP, 5 defense, and 105 special defense. And you might be thinking, Ryan, you're crazy if you think that 5 defense is scary. Well, my friends, Chansey gets Eviolite. And Eviolite makes it really, really difficult to kill. So, what does Minimize do again? Right, it boosts the evasion stat by 2 stages each time it's used. Now let's look at this again, right? So, the first turn you use it, 100% accuracy moves are dropped down to 60%. The second time you use it, it's dropped down to 42%. Guys, this is the problem. This is why people don't like evasion tactics. There's nothing wrong with double team. People can spam double team all they want, and if you don't shut down double team as fast as you can, that's on you, because they need 4 turns to get it set up. Yeah, you might miss an attack here and there, but the odds are so incredibly in your favor. If you're using a flamethrower on, say, let's just say Scyther, and he has a double team up, you should have killed it already. You know what I'm saying? But Minimize, on the other hand, that nearly exponentially boosts your lack of ability to kill it. You need to kill that Pokemon in 1 turn before you're in a bad position. And that's the problem. How the hell can you kill a Chansey in 1 turn? It's not possible. I don't think there's a single Pokemon in this game that can one-shot a Chansey. I will look this up right now. We're going to go by base attack, right? Mewtwo, Mega Mewtwo. Does Mega Mewtwo get close combat? Brick Break. Okay, that's not helpful at all. I don't think so. Drain Punch. Focus Punch. Focus Punch works. Let's just pretend it got Focus Punch, alright? It has more attack? It does have more attack. So let's go to Nugget Bridge. Let's go to their damage calculator. And let's go, Chansey. Chansey. Now, the common showdown is 252 HP, 252 defense, bold with Eviolite. So let's go Mewtwo. Let's go Mewtwo. Let's make a Mega... Is it X? I don't use Mewtwo. It is X. Okay. So Mewtwo X. Let's give it 252 attack. It's probably going to not be adamant. Alright. And let's give it a Focus Punch. Focus Punch. And there you go. Mewtwo actually does one-hit KO Chansey. Fair enough, Mewtwo. Fair enough. You got me there. Okay, so let's use Heracross, something a little bit more common. So Mega Heracross, Jolly is the common showdown, and as you can see, 75% chance to one-hit KO. And that is the strongest legal Pokemon that can hit Chansey super effectively. That's kind of nuts. That's only a 75% chance. Next up is Gallade. Let's see how Gallade does. Gallade, if we get Mega Gallade. Gallade has a 31% chance. That's just not good. It's not fair. It's not helpful. That's why people don't like evasion. That's why people think it takes no skill to use. Because double teaming Chanseys are literally impossible to kill. They get health regen. They have status restore. They have other things that are scary. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, let's just look at a Chansey's move pool. First of all, he gets Healer, which is pretty nice. Serene Grace, which is pretty nice. So not only do you have the double team, the evasion aspect, but now you have attacks like Ice Beam, which have a higher chance to freeze, and Flamethrower, which has a higher chance to burn, or what other? Does he have a flinch? Does he have Rock Slide? I think she gets Rock Slide. Rock Tomb? No, it doesn't. But oh yeah, Rock Slide. I mean, now you have an even greater chance to flinch. I mean, there's a 30% chance to flinch before Serene Grace. So I mean, it's just one of those Pokemon that I think, like Swagger and Confuse Ray, I think not Double Team, Minimize should be taken out of the game. It doesn't add anything. I mean, these Pokemon all already get Double Team. They don't need it. They really don't. I mean, sure, Muck isn't that bad. It's still pretty bulky. I mean, Staryu, Starmie you can one-shot. That's not a big deal. Quillfish you can one-shot. Not a big deal. Chandelure you can one-shot. Not a real big deal. But, Drifblim, can you really one-shot a Drifblim easily? I mean, yeah, a lot easier than Chansey or Clefable, but still, it has some decent bulk to it. It's going to be pretty difficult to take out. Yeah, I mean, especially when you consider Drifblim's weaknesses, there aren't very many moves that that hit Drifblim as hard as a close combat would hit Chansey. For example, Thunderbolt. I mean, you could use Thunder if you're in a rain team. Thunder would be a pretty solid option, but there are no special attacks that really reach the power of close combat that's super effective against Drifblim. And that's kind of another issue, but that's for a different video. We're already at 40 minutes. Oh my god, we're talking forever. But I mean, long story short, I think Minimize. I keep saying Double Team. I think Minimize is not something we need in this game. Double Team has the evasion, you know. I think Minimize needs either a drawback or just to be eliminated. Or if they refuse to do either of those two, at least take it away from like Chansey and Blissey and Clefable. They really don't need it. They really don't. They're bulky enough, especially Clefable, who with Magic Guard you can't even status it. Like, oh, come on! I mean, I think you could sleep it. I'm pretty sure you can sleep it. But what's sleep gonna do? You can't touch it. You're not gonna be able to touch it. So it's just, it's one of those things that really need to be changed, in my opinion. And I'll show you this battle real quick, as quickly as I can, because I totally forgot to show it. This was given to me by Hasty Swampert, I believe. And we're just going to play this real quick. So as you can see on the opponent's team, he's got a Pachirisu, Sableye, Murkrow, Clefable, Klefki, and Riolu. We don't get to see the Riolu because unfortunately it's not brought. But as you see, the Pachirisu just kind of sets up for the Clefable. Clefable's going to start going for Minimize, and Psyshock actually hits on the first turn, but now he's at +4 evasion. Not many attacks are actually going to be able to touch it, and especially with something like support like Follow Me, it's going to be kind of hard. But now this Clefable's at perfect evasion, so each attack is only has a 33%, and that's only if they're 100%. So something like Focus Blast, I don't think it's going to be hitting at all. So yeah, and then oh yeah, Hasty Swampert, as you can see by the username. And then it could just start setting up Calm Minds. You know, I mean, I don't think they thought anything through when they made this. I mean, like, that Slowking did get that Psyshock off again, which is actually pretty impressive considering that this is a perfect evasion. So, I mean, yeah, there are chances you can hit. A 33% chance isn't great. We're not using Scald here, but I mean, I say you use Scald. He did end up killing that Clefable, but the odds were significantly against his favor, and it only took him 3 turns to set that up. 3 turns. 3 frickin' turns. Whereas Double Team would have taken literally double that. And I think that's the issue. And then you get like things like this where Sableye can just psych up, and then the Murkrow can just psych up, and now you have two Pokemon who you can't really touch. And there's not much you can do. And if they have any, even an iota of some sort of offensive way to touch you, there's not much you're going to be able to do in the long run. And as you see, they literally do not lose any health for the rest of the game, I don't think, outside of the burn that miraculously landed. I really don't know the calculations for that. There's got to be some way to calc that, how much chance a burn has to actually land at +6 evasion. Nothing else is hitting. I mean, this is just ridiculous. This is literally ridiculous. Double Team... No, oh my god, I keep doing that. Minimize is not healthy for this format. Double Team, on the other hand, I think is pretty solid. You know, I mean, people will argue, and I'm going to stop this here. People will argue, and we'll go back to this, that there are some decent moves that actually counter Minimize. Flying Press, Phantom Force, and Body Slam are the only ones you're ever going to see. Dragon Rush, no. It has terrible accuracy. It's pretty bad in general. It's one of the stronger dragon moves, but you're not going to see it. There's a reason people run Dragon Claw instead. Stomp, I mean, Stomp's like, what, base 35? I'm kind of curious. Is it base... It's base 65. Sorry. I mean, do you really think Stomp's going to beat a Chansey? I mean, who's the strong... Let's get Kangaskhan. Let's get Kangaskhan in here. Alright. Kangaskhan. Let's give him Stomp. Oh, Stomp. Okay, so I'll just make Double Edge base 65. Fair enough. Literally does 35% maximum. And let's make him Adamant, just for the hell of it, even though the comment is jolly. Doesn't even 3-hit KO 100% of the time. Add that to the fact that Chansey gets Soft Boiled and Wish, you're up a creek. You know, who the hell's going to be running Stomp? Let's be real. Let's be a little reasonable here. Who the hell is running Stomp? No one. No one's running Stomp. Who would ever run Stomp? Steamroller, same thing. Flying Press, I mean, really, it's only on Hawlucha. Who the hell runs Hawlucha? And if you're running Flying Press, I mean, you're going to have, like, High Jump Kick, and that hits Chansey a little bit harder than Flying Press does. So, I mean, it's just, long story short, because we've been talking for about 45 minutes now. Long story short, Minimize needs to be rid of. I think it's just super broken. I don't think it belongs in this game. Same thing with Swagger and the confused status. I think that needs to be removed. But luck in general adds a really nice spin to the game. You could be as good as you want, you know, and you will lose to a flinch. And that sounds terrible. But the people watching know you were going to win. The people know you're going to win. And while, yeah, tournaments are kind of... it sucks if you lose out on first place in a tournament, but I think in general play, Hacks just adds some sort of surprise to the game. It adds a little bit of fun, you know? You get a flinch, you love it. You can't have it both ways. You're either going to hate Hacks in general, or you love Hacks. You can't say, I hate Hacks when it happens to me, and I love it when it happens for me. It doesn't work that way. I mean, it does. It definitely does work that way sometimes. But the point is that this game isn't going to be competing on the same level as, like, League of Legends. There's too much Hacks in the game, and we really just need to sit down, accept that, and see it for what it is. You know, missing a move... I'm fair enough with that. 120 base power for Focus Blast, and only 30% chance to miss. Hell yeah, that's great. Does it add a little bit of stress? Sometimes. But I'd say the stress really only happens when you're in a tournament setting. I think in general, Hacks just adds a little different flavor to the game. Confusion and Minimize? No. No, because you're not going to see a minimizing Starmie. Let's be real here. Why would a Starmie be minimizing? Let's be real. You're really going to be seeing things like Chansey and Clefable and Driftblim, and those are going to be the problem childs. They're going to be the ones that are hard to beat. So with that, guys, I thank you so much for sticking around. I really do. It's been lovely. I talked a lot. This is what happens when I don't have a script. Not that I ever do scripts. I don't ever do scripts. I don't like scripts because it doesn't sound natural. But yeah, so guys, I really do appreciate it. Really, let me know down below in the comments below your opinions on the matter. I will put that in the description. I'll put all the links in the description below. I'll even link to the battle from Kevin, X-Ray's Ovation, that inspired this video. And guys, I really do appreciate it again, and I hope to see you guys at the next episode. Peace. Camera's down here, Ryan. Camera's down here.